Alrighty, welcome back everyone. We just talked about the conference championship scenarios. Relatively straightforward in the Big 12, Big 10, and SEC. Not so much over there in the ACC. It could be straightforward. It could get chaotic in a hurry. So we'll see that unfold and we will update you on Monday when we are officially back from Thanksgiving weekend. But we got some best bets to get off right before we get out of here. A lot of great games this upcoming weekend. A lot that I feel weirdly confident about on my picks, and we'll start down there in Stark Vegas. Mississippi State plus 7.5 versus Ole Miss. I really think Devon Booth and Fluff Bothwell are going to have a day. I think they're going to be able to run the football really effectively. I think Jeff Lebby's going to kind of pace back the offense a touch. Obviously, they are a quick offense. You want to play within your strengths, but you also want to keep that Ole Miss offense on the sideline. So I think they're going to lean on the run. I think they're going to have a lot of success there. And I think they have enough juice on the outside to make some big-time plays. The Kamario Taylor package could be a whole other problem for Ole Miss's defense. I think they're going to be able to score in this one. They got to get a couple of stops. They got to get one stop, really, if they're going to be able to stick in this football game. I think Kelly Jones makes one big play. That's the bet I'm making in this football game, that Kelly Jones, or one of the DBs for Mississippi State, is able to make one massive play, and this is a down-to-a-wire affair in Starkville. I don't know if Mississippi State is going to win. I know they have a shot to win. I'm going to pick them plus 7.5. That hook has helped me out quite a bit here, but at the end of the day, I do think Mississippi State runs the football, kind of possesses the football a little bit more than they're used to, and they find a way to at least keep that thing close over there in Starkville. Iowa, minus 6.5 over Nebraska. Has anyone been noticing the Nebraska program, just the background noise that has kind of been happening over really the last couple of weeks? You had, obviously, the Matt Rule stuff prior to him signing his extension, him possibly going to Penn State. Right after that, Dylan Raiola's brother, Dayton, decommits from the program, and now all the talk is about Dylan possibly leaving the program. It sounds like he's going to leave the program at the end of this year. And now the questions are back on Matt Rule. There's a little bit of talk around Penn State. Maybe they don't love hiring Terry Smith. Maybe Bob Chesney isn't the guy that they're fully looking for, and they're willing to do the buyout, even with the new extension that's added on to Matt Rule. I don't know if that's going to happen. I would hire Bob Chesney if I was them, but again, that's still on the table, and that is something to watch as we move forward. I heard Josh Pate was talking about a mystery candidate up there. I don't think it's Matt Rule, but maybe there's someone totally out of the blue that I'm not talking about for Penn State. But let's get back to Iowa versus Nebraska. I do think Iowa's going to be able to win this one, at least by a score. I just trust Mark Gronowski to make more plays on offense than TJ Lateef. It's really that simple. So I think Iowa kind of controls this game, even in Lincoln. I think they find a way to win this one by at least 7 for a weird Nebraska program right this second. Ohio State, Michigan, under 43.5. There's no way I was picking anything different for this game. It's going to be Rockfight City up there in Ann Arbor. Sounds like it's going to be about 30 degrees, about 80% chance of snow in this one. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a very classic Big Ten battle, and it's one Ohio State has to find a way to win. I do think these teams get bogged down just a little bit. I don't think it's aggressive. I don't think Ohio State falls into the trap that they have the last couple of years. But I do think there's moments where they try to lean on the run. They try to make this a game where you just have to avoid the mistakes from Julian Sayin, which makes total sense, and it just gets bogged down for a little bit. And I really think that's all you need, especially against Ohio State defense that I don't think is going to give up more than 14 points in this football game. So I'm going to take the under here. I think there's just a few drives early where Ohio State looks a little bit off, and then they kind of find their footing. They end this game strong, but I don't think that Ohio State defense is giving Bryce Underwood a chance in this football game. Pitt, plus 6.5 versus Miami. I love this one. I really do, and it's as simple as it's what Miami has been under Mario Cristobal. With all due respect to Mario, he's done some incredible things around that program. Late in the season, with the pressure on, you need to win a game, they've lost. Last year, it was Kyle McCord, a really talented passer that could sling the ball all over the yard. Mason Heinschel is your new guy, and it's going to be 33 degrees. It's going to be cold. It's going to be tough. They have a very good run game with Jakiri and Turner. I think this is going to be the toughest challenge for that Miami defense, really, since they've played Notre Dame, and that was the first time starting quarterback. I think this guy's a little bit... I think Mason Heinschel right now might be a little bit better than what CJ Carr was at the beginning of the season. That was very hard to get out, but at the end of the day, I think a supreme passer knocks Miami out again. I think once again he gets the win. I'll take the points, though. I'll take the points for the time being, but I think Pitt has a very, very good shot to win this football game, and Miami, once again, is sitting on the outside looking in thinking we should be in the playoff right now. Oregon-Washington over 50.5. The Washington offense is probably one of the more underrated units in the entire country. Damon Williams is absolutely rolling. If you look at his numbers, it's truly remarkable what he's been able to do this year. Jonah Coleman's been one of the top 10 running backs in the country probably, and Denzel Boston's just a game changer. If that guy is close to 100% in this football game, he's going to make a ridiculous play. I can almost promise you that. That's just kind of the way he is. But I do think it's going to be a fun game early. I think they're going to get after each other. I think Dante Moore is just playing at a really, really high level, so even a good Washington defense, I just think Dante Moore is kind of rolling right now. And whether DeCorian Moore plays, whether Gary Bryant plays or not, I think they're going to have a lot of success on the offensive side of the ball. I think Washington gives us enough in this game with a couple of big plays from Jonah Coleman and Denzel Boston, and that's enough for this game to get over 50.5. I think we got a pretty fun one going on this weekend up there in Seattle. I'll take Florida -1.5 over Florida State. A really, really gross game, if you ask me, but this is all about dudes as far as I'm concerned. Florida State gives more opportunities to other teams than maybe any other team in the country. It's remarkable to watch this team just continuously hand the ball to elite offenses and just ask them to beat them. Exactly what happened against NC State. Not an elite offense there, but at least one that can score with CJ Bailey, and they were able to, at least enough to win that football game. If you're going to give Florida chances, they're going to tear you apart. The athletes are too good. Jaden Boss, too good. DJ Lagway hasn't played his best football this year. You give him enough shots, and he's going to make a big-time play on you. That's just the reality of that guy. I'm going to lean on the athletes that Florida has in this one, and I don't think the Florida State players are going to really play all that well in this game. I really don't think they're going to play with a ton of passion. I don't think that program has much to it right now, outside of a potential for a turnaround going forward. There's not a lot of juice around that place. I am not going to pick them in this game against a team that, although hasn't gone very well this season, at least they have the guys up front to impose their will just a little bit, and then Jaden Ball can totally take over this game if Florida State lets them. I'll take Cal, +13.5 versus SMU. This is just a spot where SMU has to survive. I think it might be a little bit tough to survive. Justin Wilcox was just fired from Cal. I really don't think that's going to impact this team too much. That talk had been going on for quite some time around there, really. I don't think this is going to be a huge one. I really don't think that's going to have an impact on this football team. I don't want to say it's going to have a positive one. I don't think it's going to have a negative one. I'll leave it at that for the time being. I think JKS is good enough to make a couple of big-time plays in this game, and I think SMU is good. I think they will win this game, but Kevin Jennings, if he makes a couple of mistakes against this secondary for Cal, they'll take it back to the house, and this game will change on a dime. So I think SMU wins the game, but if you're giving me 13.5 with that high-powered offense and a couple of big-time playmakers on that defense, I'm going to take it against SMU. Still think they win, but 13.5 is just a little bit rich for my blood. And then Auburn, +6.5 versus Alabama. It's as simple as can be. I think Alabama has squeezed everything out of Ty Simpson every single week. You can't do it the entire season. It's the same thing that's happened to Texas throughout this year. It's been all Arch Manning. If they don't have offense, it's because Arch Manning isn't a superhero. That afternoon, same exact thing for Alabama. I don't think you can be a superhero against this defense. I really don't. That defensive line is too nasty. They're going to put the ball in Ty Simpson's hands consistently. Now, I think Ty Simpson's good enough to win this football game. I tend to believe Alabama's going to be able to get it done. I don't feel confident they can blow out anyone right this second, especially a defensive line and a defense in general that is that aggressive. You're asking Ty Simpson to be a hero the 10th time this season. I don't know if he has it in him. Especially against this defensive line with Keldrick Falk, I think it's going to be a really fun one. And Jordan Hare at night, I'm never betting against chaos. I think this one's very close. I think Auburn, at the very least, covers the 6.5. They might just win this game and send everyone into chaos around there in Tuscaloosa. And it'd be rather funny to watch. I'll leave it there for the time being, but definitely something that would be something interesting at the very least to watch. But I'm going to pick Auburn +6.5 there. and we'll see what happens after that. But a couple other things that I wanted to touch on are really just a couple of coaching things that we had to touch on before we got out of here. Final prediction on Lane Kiffin that I will give. I think he's going to take the LSU job. I think the next time that we talk on Monday, he will be the head coach of LSU, and Ole Miss will be trying to figure it out. Whether that's on the outside of the CFP or on the inside, they're going to have to figure out who their interim coach is, what that looks like going forward, if there's many people left in the building after this one, because you'll find a whole lot of guys will go with him to Baton Rouge. I think LSU is going to be where Lane Kiffin lands at the end of this week. We'll see. We'll see what happens. A lot can change for Ole Miss. The program at large very, very quickly on Saturday and Friday. So we'll talk about it more on Monday. I think he's going to take the LSU job on Saturday. We'll talk about it, obviously. Oklahoma State has made their hire. Eric Morris, home run. If you give me every single option in the entire country, every realistic option in the entire country for Oklahoma State, this is the guy I'm picking. There's no doubt about it. An incredible, incredible quarterback developer, has found diamonds in the rough every single place he's gone. It's very likely that Drew Mestemaker is going to come with him from North Texas up to Oklahoma State, and you get back what Oklahoma State is all about. It's high-flying offenses. It's throwing the football around. It's Brandon Weeden. It's all of those guys that have done incredible, incredible things at that program. They're high-flying offenses. That's exactly what Eric Morris is bringing back over there to Stillwater. Love that hire. And frankly, probably my favorite hire of the entire cycle thus far. And then Arkansas. It seems like they are ready to hire Alex Golish. Another great hire. I really think they nailed this one now. I have questions about the Arkansas machine behind him, but that's something that will be answered pretty quickly in this offseason as he goes out and tries to rebuild this roster. But an elite hire, that South Florida job's really interesting. I have some thoughts on that one. We can get to that next week. But at the end of the day, if they officially get this one done, if the ink dries and Alex Golish is the next head coach of Arkansas, I think you nailed it. I think you'll have a great offense. I think you'll have a path to be a really dangerous team moving forward, as long as the AD and everyone behind him is actually behind him. That's a big if around there in Fayetteville. But at the end of the day, if this is the guy, you nailed it, Arkansas. And we'll talk about it more next week as we get into probably the end of the Lane Kiffin saga, but I could see it rolling into next week as well. But overall, it's an incredible week of football. It's my favorite week of the entire year, not just because we get to eat a whole lot of food tomorrow and watch a whole lot of football, but at the end of the day, it's an incredible, incredible time because you're thankful all week. You're thankful on Thursday, and then you get to Friday and the hate just dials up to a 10. It's going to be very aggressive down there in Starkville. It's going to follow it up in Mercedes-Benz with clean old-fashioned hate, and then the Lone Star Showdown. It's going to be special on Friday, and then we just get maybe the most anticipated game of the entire year on Saturday. I can't wait. I just can't wait. But happy Thanksgiving to everyone out there. Very thankful to everyone that watches this show. If you watch it for a second, if you watch the entire thing, it means the world to me. This is what I want to do for a living. This is what I want to do for the rest of my life. And you guys are helping that out. So thank you so much for that. It means the world to me. Please do like, subscribe, comment. If it's criticism, if it's compliments, I don't mind. I love to interact with you guys one way or the other. But really, thank you so much. Please do like, subscribe, comment, do all of that great stuff. Enjoy Thanksgiving. Enjoy rivalry weekend. It's a beautiful thing. We will be back on Monday to break it all down. I have to imagine there will be quite a bit of chaos to break down. But thank you so much for listening, and I will see you guys on Monday.